What up guys, it is Justice here. Welcome to another video on my channel. This video is going to be around legacy mode, a very highly controversial topic which is going throughout the game at the moment. Legacy mode beta has been launched and I've been trialing it out with a friend just last night and I actually streamed it a little bit, so if you want to see the entire thing unedited and live commentary, it's on my Twitch channel. But this video is just going to go into depth with my thoughts, my first impressions, bit of a comparison to EOC as well, so I hope you enjoy it and I'll get right into it. Also guys, whilst you're listening carefully to this video, take into consideration your own opinion and write those in the comment section. So I started off streaming legacy mode, went straight into the game, and I was like, whoa, what is this? I thought it just feels like a completely different game. EOC was launched on the 20th of November 2011. It makes you realize how much the game has adapted and changed since this date, and in my eyes for the better, due to interacting more with the game in order to do what you actually want to do. So for example, when you go into PVM fights, or if you go on PvP, you having to use abilities, really thinking about how you're doing things. There's loads of other ways as well. For example, interface changes, how you can change about your interface when you're doing skilling. It makes it more interactive, it makes it customizable, more personal to you. All of those different things to make it either more efficient or just to make it more interactive in terms of a modern game, especially when comparing and competing against other games and MMOs out there. I think it has greatly changed, and it does make you realize when you go back onto legacy mode beta how much this game has changed in just about 3 years almost. It's almost 3 years, or it's 2.5 years, and it's just crazy how much it's changed. I mean, I'll give you an idea in terms of my gameplay and how much I've actually played this game now since EOC was launched. Pre-EOC, I was studying though full-time, working full-time, didn't really play RS much at all back then. Yet a large reason for that was because of a lack of time to actually, you know, do things which I like to enjoy other than just working. But yeah, since I graduated, I did have more time to play. In the past year, I have played a lot more than usual. Obviously, set up this YouTube channel. My total XP is around 140 mil or something so far this year or something, or in the past year, and my total XP is only around 340 mil, so that kind of just proves how much I have actually been playing this game. And yeah, that's probably since EOC was launched. I think I started tracking my XP around that point. I can't remember now in terms of the total XP. Another way I tracked it actually was via the Nexicans clan, which I've joined, when it keeps that total experience for you when you join a clan, and obviously if you don't leave then it stacks it up. So yeah, I have probably in the last year, yeah, gained a lot of experience, almost half of my total experience, which is just mad. And a large reason for that is due to the enjoyment I'm gaining from the game, due to the friends I have now on the game, all of that, the network I've got on the game. But a large part of it is the game mechanics since EOC was launched, and you know, the change, like I said, is huge from pre-EOC to what it is now. But I'll go into firstly the impact on what I think it'll have on PVM, or also known as player versus environment. Personally, it shouldn't have a huge impact on my personal gameplay, because I do largely do PVM. However, we as PVMers, if you guys listening, any of you out there are just strongly focused on PVM and skilling, let's say, then we will have to adapt to allow things to be changed in the game to make it more applicable to PvPers. We'll have to adapt to the updates, such as the life point changes to 9,900 or 990 on Legacy. Obviously you can switch between the two once it comes out in the live game. However, you just times everything by 10 in terms of the hit splats and the damage taken. So yeah, the life point changes, that's going to impact a lot in terms of PVM. So for example, it may become RuneScape now in terms of PVMing. People are going to use Void a lot more in terms of the EOC now, guys, not Legacy, because of that aspect that your life points are now higher. At the moment it's around 6,000 or something for Void when you wield the whole armor set, so that's going to help a lot there. And again, that's a way of adapting to the gameplay and the changes which are being made for PvP. However, some things you can make some things benefit you as a PVMer as well. I'm no expert on PvP, but I suspect one of those reasons for hiring that life points is obviously so you can wear lower ended geared armor, due to it being lower risk in terms of the value of money you're going to lose in the wilderness, and then it still allows you to have a decent amount of life points to have a longer and more intense fight. Another way in which Legacy is going to affect EOC is the food cooldown. When you eat now, it will prevent you from using an ability. However, what the saying is, and what I will have to try out in the combat beta, is that if you time it correctly, then you can still, when you hit an ability, for example, let's say you have it on keybind, you hit the ability and then you have your mouse over, let's say, a Sara brew, and you sip that, then obviously you may be able to bypass that cooldown. And again, the way Legacy mode is going to be improved is with the Sara brews as well, so they've made brews now more effective, so I'd get those offers in the G. Now, I don't know whether they're going to nerf it, buff it, and that's going to be purely on player feedback. But at the moment, a normal brew dose will heal you 100, which is linked to 1000 in terms of when you transfer that over to the EOC. And a super brew, I think, is around 130, so that's 1300 per dose. So let's say a normal flask for Sardamine brew, that's going to heal you 6000. Now, at certain boss fights, that will help you a lot, and it's about utilizing and comparing, you know, which things to use. I think at Rise of the Six, things like that, potentially brews would be quite handy. So all those little things, those are little changes which are going to impact PVM, but also are going to benefit PvPers as well, and PVMers. So, but again, one of my mods on the stream did post a straw poll saying, how long will it take for Justice to rage quit? And you know, I did last for around an hour and 15 minutes, and then I decided I got bored. And at the end of the day, there's not many negatives that Legacy mode's going to incur over to PVM in EOC. However, will I be using it? The simple answer will be no. Now, that's no in general when it comes to questing, skilling, PVMing, or just chatting to mates. All of that, I feel the interface system and everything's much better in the EOC. However, when I did flick over to PvP in the fixed screen, as you see a lot of footage here, it was quite enjoyable, I've got to say. But again, it's on beta, I'm not actually risking any items myself. And, you know, there's pros and cons to this sort of thing. It's a lot easier as well to pick up than EOC PvPing as well, due to videos which I watch. You know, you pick up on things really easily here, rather than PvP EOC. So, again, is that just a question of people just didn't invest enough time into learning EOC PvPing? I'm not sure. And is the sole purpose of Legacy mode just for PvP? Also, I believe if Legacy mode is purely just for the PvP aspect, which in my eyes it most likely is, due to experience rates being much better on EOC, etc., the graphics being much better, all of those different things in terms of the interface system, and the player versus environment interaction is much more advanced. Will passionate PvPers, those ones who literally strive to excel in that playstyle, will they use Legacy mode for the PvP side, and then will they be encouraged to switch over to the EOC in terms of everything else, in terms of training those combat skills or interacting with other players in the environment? Is this an underlying aim for Jagex, and also will players be more encouraged to do so due to the ease and simplicity of switching between the interfaces of EOC and Legacy mode? So let's have a look at the limitations and drawbacks of having two completely different interfaces and two completely different ways of carrying out combat within the same game. It will be a confusion to new players who open up RS3 or are new to the game, and you have these two completely different play styles and two completely different interfaces to the game, and I think it may put people off, I don't know, from going to EOC, but when people soon realize that the experience rates are faster, everything's faster, more interactive, I reckon they probably will choose EOC over Legacy mode. And I have a feeling Jagex probably definitely have some stats in terms of what interface people will be choosing and what interface they're using to play the game, and they may be tracking that to see what the popularity levels are for both of the modes. Now let's link that topic in terms of the interfaces and choice, not just of new players but now of existing players and also historic players. And the main reason the main fundamental reason why Jagex have developed this mode for players. They are aiming to balance the triangle of play styles. Now, they're bringing back the community. Edgeville is thriving, it's vibrant, yes, full of PKs, potentially full of historic players. Very few players in terms of my network of friends who are actually on it doing PKing and everything. That just kind of proves the network of players which I've got surrounded around myself in terms of my playstyle, but also potentially the network of players who are currently playing Evolution of Combat as we speak. But people are giving away their armors, weapons for free. Obviously they're not worth anything in the beta, but it's great. Like when they don't need them, they'll just trade them to somebody rather than than you having to take your time out to go and get the weapon yourself. And that is a nice community feel. There are 3 main playstyles across RuneScape in my eyes. You've got PVM, PVP, and skillers. Some people solely focus on one path, however others take it upon themselves to strive for a combination of 2 roles, I would say. And by 2 roles, I mean it's very rare you'll see someone try and excel in PVM and PVP at the same time within the game. And by excel, I mean going to the limit, striving for the highest tier weapons. And it's very rare to see players striving to excel in all 3 fields of expertise. Now, relating to this, like I said at the beginning of this video, the change was huge, and EOC was not ready, in my eyes, on the 20th of November 2011, because it did impact players too much in terms of the change. People couldn't take it. If EOC was launched maybe a year later, it would have been a much better it would have been in much better stead to actually gain those people and in terms of retaining the current player base, or at least have released it with Revolution and Momentum upon the first day of release, rather than solely abilities and the way they introduced it, because it did disconnect and it isolated that PvP community side. I mean, stripping away special attacks in one full sweep and then changing the entire interface in one full sweep was a huge dramatic change for the PvPers. I would say, yeah, PVMers, but we could adapt to it. We enjoy that interactivity. We enjoy making PVMing harder, more intense, the majority of us, more skillful and more rewarding. However, the PvP side of it, it hasn't really worked out, has it? I've not saw many PvPers in EOC. Hopefully there's 1 or 2 of you out there commenting. I know Lord Blue Asian has commented in my previous videos. He's gave PvP a go in EOC and knows it quite well in terms of the stuns. However, they're even being removed soon as well in terms of the combat beta. They are removed in terms of stunning. But yeah, either way, Jagex could have just used Momentum, launched that in the first instance, made damage output for PvP more so than PVM, and then added special attacks or kept that for AGSs, Vesper longswords, etc. But again, hindsight is a fantastic, beautiful thing in life, and at that point Jagex obviously didn't realize the impact that was going to make to PvP. They've obviously realized that the cost has been too much in terms of that, and therefore they've launched Legacy Mode. And now if Legacy Mode achieves what it has been developed to achieve, which is to encourage those players to return to RS3, then yes, I admit that would be absolutely fantastic, and it does balance out the triangle and potentially will positively impact the economy, and with money sinks, for example, or specific weapon armor food supply rises. Also, it produces more hype around the game, and by that I mean it produces hype across the gaming community across the world, and by this I mean across social networking sites, for example, such as Reddit or Twitter or even YouTube, for example. All these videos which are being made and produced at the moment by YouTubers across Legacy Mode, and hopefully gets more scope and more publicity for RuneScape to bring more players into the game, which again would increase the community, and that's at the end of the day is a fantastic thing for the game and a fantastic thing for players. It's an online MMO. It's great to have more players in the game. So what are the down points about Legacy Mode at the moment? Well, switching between weapons for your special attacks is very slow at the moment. It seems to be a delay with it, a couple of seconds or so it's not great for when you're tri-breeding maybe, or quickly wanting to switch over to an AGS or Vesper longsword special, and Jagex do need to sort that out because a lot of PKs are raging around that at the moment. It is taking a while to switch between the weapons. Also, it's about getting used to the F keys, again, switching between your interfaces. I suppose people, again, between the interfaces, preferred that old style for PKing. So again, I've got to understand that argument a little bit in terms of like F5, using F5 to switch to your special attack quickly, and then using an AGS spec, for example, which at the moment is just way too OP. Also, if you are going to PVM in Legacy Mode, which is highly unlikely, which I'll get to in a moment, Calfet King, for example, where you do want to tri-brid or you want to switch between gears quickly, it does affect that. It does have a large impact on that in terms of the delay. However, maybe it's just due to the beta servers, and they will be working on that obviously when it comes into the live game. Alright guys, so I'm going to strongly encourage you now to write down your feelings and thoughts towards Legacy Mode, towards this video and the topics I've raised. Be very constructive, keep it clean, and respect each other in the comment section, please. And also going forward, I may make a recap video on this one and put the most constructive comments, in my opinion, on screen and review those comments in a follow-up video to this one, because this is a very large, interesting topic. JX on the 23rd of June are going to upload a poll allowing you to vote on whether you think Legacy Mode is ready for the live game. Let me know in advance in the comment section what you're going to vote for. I'm looking forward to the brand new boss coming out soon. It's got about 23 mechanics, guys. The spider boss, which is coming out. And I remember them saying it's supposed to be coming out in June, and there's only 1 week left in June, so I don't know whether that's going to happen. If anybody knows when that boss is supposed to be launched, let me know in the comment section. So I'm looking forward to that. 23 mechanics, guys. I think Virago has 15, so that's pretty insane. So really looking forward to that solo but also duo boss fight. Take care everybody, happy scaping, and I'll see you in my next video.
Oh whoa!
I'm gonna bring you Cyber, like, please screw it. I'm using Cyber now.
Holding it.
Oh! Yes! Yes! Oh my god!
Yeah!
Oh my god, guys! It's happened!